Contrarians, welcome back to the Encrypted Capital Recap for Tuesday, November 1st. First off, let's take a look at the leaderboard here. We got, what is that? One Ledger is leading, and that's trading in BTC actually, so that's good. Up 11%. Dragon, Doge, up another 6.4%. This thing's been moving like crazy, as we know, last, couple weeks or so. Maybe like 7 days at this point. Telcoin's up about 5%. Telcoin's actually been moving as well. Definitely crazily at the bottom. I mean, you can't get much better than that as far as an entry goes. I mean, you're down 90. Let's see. Let's take a wild guess here. I'm going to say you're down 92% from the top here. And we can go ahead and see just exactly how far this has fallen here. You are down, way more than 92%. So you're hanging out at around 97.7% on Telcoin. I would be buying the shit out of Telcoin at this point. As you know, on this channel, we like to look at things when they're absolutely flat on the bottom, on the floor. I mean, it doesn't get much tighter of a trading range than that. I would expect a breakout here anytime in the next, several weeks or so. And also wanted to point out here, interestingly enough, I was screwing around on the charts here. And for XRP in particular, I was noticing when I was putting in moving average, my moving average setting, I should say, that I went ahead and changed it. You can see here to 270 days for the length. And I know that's a kind of like an odd number, but I found multiple confluences of it just banging up against this 270-day moving average. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times just this year alone. So I'm going to go ahead and say that if we bust through this moving average and close on the daily above it, there's a good chance that we get some price to the upside. Because as you can see, we never closed above it. We actually did wick above it, and we've tapped it a couple times here, but we've never actually closed the daily above the 270-day moving average. So it always kind of made me wonder a little bit if there were some other, daily indicators with some interesting time frames that might be able to, help guide some of our direction here and some of these moves and trying to like aid in these confluences here. And so 270 days, that's what I'm finding for XRP. Looks really good. And I haven't tried it out on many other assets at this point, but you can see just kind of how far away we are from some of these, from this moving average on some of these other charts here, like Tezos, for instance. Tezos, I still really, really like. I know that it's also decreased quite a bit, just like every other altcoin in this market. But Tezos has a huge war chest. I mean, the Tezos Foundation alone, I believe it still has somewhere around hundreds of millions of dollars in it. So what are you going to do if you have hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin and you have your own asset like Tezos? And we know that Tezos has been picked up on the Formula One circuit, as well as a handful of other really massive projects that they've either teamed up with or that they're a part of. I really, really like Tezos still. And so again, look at the charts here. I mean, look at this trading range. We put this out in our newsletter a little while ago that we want to be accumulating in this range from essentially $1.20 to, $1.50 roughly, $1.42 or so. Anywhere in that range. I mean, again, 90% off the all-time high. I mean, a no-brainer if you ask me. So let's go ahead. We'll dive into the news here. The first thing that I want to point out here was Coinbase. Huge news. Coinbase is now backing Ripple against the SEC. I mean, who would have thought that, right? One of the first exchanges to go ahead and pull the asset during the SEC lawsuit, and now Coinbase is coming in at what could be viewed as the right time. I mean, technically on a chart, when you're looking at these assets and you're trying to figure out where the news is going to land, because, I mean, that classic phrase is true, show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. I mean, go look at the XRP chart. I mean, it's at 40 cents, was once trading at, $3.30. Again, super far away from the previous all-time high of 350. Getting an asset for 40 cents with a utility. I mean, are you kidding me? Again, an absolute no-brainer. So Coinbase backing Ripple against the SEC. Let's see what it says here. It says in almost 2 years since Ripple Labs, the company which develops the Ripple payment protocol, has been fighting the lawsuit, which we know. The growing army of Ripple backers now looks even stronger after the U.S.'s largest crypto exchange, Coinbase, moved to get regulatory approval to help the firm in its battle against the commission. Again, my thought process, the contrarian mindset, a lot of this stuff is well thought out and well planned many, many years, if not decades in advance. And I know it sounds crazy, but just go ahead and look at the David Schwartz patent that he had back in 1987, 1988, and basically what she describes cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin in general. A lot of people think that Schwartz could be Satoshi. It wouldn't surprise me. He does have NSA ties. So the ISO protocol, go ahead and look at that. That was been, in writing since the year 2000 being developed. It just adds validity every time I see this stuff come out that crypto has been the plan all along. What better way to get mass adoption going than to lead early adopters to believe that it's actually revolutionary and will change the world? And while I do think it is going to change the world, it may not be getting changed in the way you once thought. I actually had a gentleman in here, very smart guy who has an awesome NFT project, and he went into talking about how your social security number could eventually be tied to the Ethereum blockchain, right? That could be the way things end up going. It's definitely not outside the realm of possibilities to have your identification linked to the blockchain. I mean, just look at what Civic is trying to do. CVC call letters. They're trying to go ahead and utilize your medical data on the blockchain. Pretty scary stuff if you ask me, but it seems inevitable with the way things are going here. So it says in a Monday petition with the District Court for the Southern District of New York, Coinbase asked Judge Torres for permission to file an amicus brief in support of Ripple's legal position in the case. So if you guys don't know what an amicus brief is, that's a legal document that's supplied to a court of law, and it contains advice or info relating to a case from an organization or an individual who isn't a party to a case and acts as a friend to the court. So citing its unique perspective on the issues at stake in this matter, the absence of regulatory framework governing digital assets, Coinbase said it believes that parties like Ripple must be permitted to pursue fair notice defenses in matters where they are facing surprise enforcement actions like this one. So again, think Brian Armstrong and Brad Garlinghouse haven't had a cup of tea together, coffee, whatever. I mean, these are some of the biggest players in the space. These guys are probably most likely, more than likely, intertwined with each other and each other's projects. And if you have somebody like Brian Armstrong, which I believe is a billionaire at this point, Brad Garlinghouse also was once the richest man at one point during the 2017, very beginning of 2018 bull run. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick. What would I type in here? Brad Garlinghouse, richest man. And let's see when that was. I mean, meet the crypto billionaires getting rich from Ripple. Ripple's execs are now billionaires. I believe there was some sort of article that was out here that had Garlinghouse as one of the richest people. Oh, here we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Ripple co-founder becomes world's richest person. Let's see here. Oh, that was Chris Larson. Okay, sorry, it was not Garlinghouse. It was Chris Larson. In a tweet Wednesday, Bitfury founder and commentator George whatever noted that Larson's 37% stake in Ripple, which has an implied market value of around 320 billies, makes him richer than Bill Gates and Warren Buffett at the time. Says if centralized Ripple is worth 320 billion, then decentralized Bitcoin is definitely going to be worth trillions. Okay, no one cares about that. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I mean a 37% stake. I mean at that time, you're talking roughly 100 and something billion dollars. So yeah, Chris Larson at one point eclipsed the big players, Buffett, Gates. Imagine what happens when they actually flip the switch and XRP is actually used by the central banks and SWIFT to move massive amounts, trillions of dollars in liquidity every week. Who you think? I mean, Schwartz, Larson, Garlinghouse. I mean, these guys are the new financial elite at this point. That's how I foresee things playing out. It's already played out once before. Imagine what happens when when it's actually not just speculation. Imagine when it's actually utility. It's going to be epic for these guys. Also on the XRP news, XRP whale suddenly moves massive 148 billies trove of crypto. A deep-pocketed crypto investor is abruptly moving a massive trove of XRP worth nearly 150 million over the past weekend. Sorry, I read that wrong. 150. Did I say millies or billies? Whatever. 150 millies. On Saturday, the unknown wallet sent 313 million XRP to another unknown wallet, according to Whale Alert. The sending wallet was activated on October 6th and acquired nearly 300 million XRP in a single transaction that day. It says that just last week, Ripple quarterly report revealed that the Ripple payment company, for the first time, now owns less than 50% of XRP's total outstanding token supply. Yes, so they had faced criticism before for owning a large amount of XRP, and some critics arguing it gives the group too much control over the XRP ledger, a decentralized public blockchain. Well, yeah, no shit. Why wouldn't you want to own a good chunk of your project if you know exactly what market you're targeting? I want to own a large amount of it too. I mean, they had a contract that has a certain amount of it locked up and will be distributed over time to give investors confidence, but it just goes to show that they're confident in their project. They want to own a large chunk of it. It just makes sense. Now, found this article from the Daily Hodl. Trader who accurately predicted Dogecoin explosion says this Ethereum-based altcoin may be next. And we actually said this a few days ago before even reading this article. This came out today. We talked about this because these assets do tend to move in tandem. Just like XRP and XLM move in tandem, probably the same deep pockets behind it. Well, guess what? The Dogecoin clone, Shiba Inu bullshit fuck coin, is also most likely going to rally as well. So let's go ahead. We'll take a look at the chart here. Actually, they have it posted here. So yeah, I mean, you can just see just from this chart alone, it's going to hit the top of this resistance and it will probably shoot to the upside as Dogecoin profits get funneled into Shiba bullshit Inu coin. And you'll see some massive gains in that asset as well. I have totally changed my mind on these assets. Like, fuck it, I want in on the party as well. I will take a risk gambling a certain part of my portfolio just because they're so far off their all-time high. The trading ranges are flat, and we know deep pockets are behind them. Fuck it, I will go for the ride too. Now, Dogecoin did lead the pack among cryptocurrencies in October with 17 times Bitcoin gains. And if you guys don't know how the pumps work, they look for news stories where they can point the finger and say, hey, this is why it's happening. See this right here? No wonder why Elon's buying Twitter. So everything's going to go up. Well, yeah, that's the excuse that they give. That's the excuse that they give to give validity to the projects, to go ahead and pump the assets. Go ahead and read the God PDF, Game of Deception, where they used NASCAR in the Dogecoin news. When Dogecoin was plastered all over some dumbass's NASCAR, that was the excuse they used to pump the price to the moon and dump on retail. That's how the game works. Been around the space for too long. It's obvious. That's how the NFT projects work. That's how the crypto projects work. You have deep VC funding behind it. And before you know it, you can sell a picture of a bored ape for $100K. And no one even thinks twice about it because they pump the price up so high they've artificially set a floor, right? It's how it works. Do your research and don't listen to tools like Robert Kiyosaki, who's been calling for a crash for like 20 years now. Robert Kiyosaki warns again. Stocks, bonds, real estate will crash as Fed continues rate hikes. Advises buy Bitcoin before Fed pivot. Okay. Interesting that he's talked about Bitcoin. I still think this guy's full of shit. He's been talking about a crash forever. And if you've been following Bitcoin or the SPY, any of the indexes, equities in general, you know that they move in tandem with each other. So unless we have the great decoupling taking place right now where all the money flows out of the stock market and into Bitcoin, chances are likely they will both rise together. So long story short, I don't like Robert Kiyosaki. I think he's just an idiot. I mean, he acts like an idiot. He's obviously probably really smart. He's made a ton of money, but he's not there to help you make money. Let's put it that way. Now, Ethereum flashes a classic bullish pattern in its Bitcoin pair, hinting at 50% upside. This is from Cointelegraph. The formation of a bullish trading pattern suggests that ETH-BTC pair could be on the verge of a trend reversal. Definitely possible. Could be on the verge of a reversal, mainly because I think all these NFTs are getting hyped up right now, and it would make sense that Ethereum would start moving and thus helping the rest of the ships in the NFT space rise along with it. Just makes sense to me. It says, as a result, a decisive breakout move above the cup and handle neckline of 0.079 BTC could push Ether's price towards 0.123 BTC or over 50% by early 2023. End of year will be interesting for sure. I'd like to see a Bitcoin bottom come in here and start to get some of these prices pushing to the upside. If we go ahead here, we take a look at the SPY. Go ahead, find the SPY here, showing at 38.60. We've been talking about this level of support here. I'll get this moving average off here because I don't know if this is going to work for the S&P. But we did say that this level right here between 35.88 and 36.37, this is your 20% retrace here. 20% retrace. Anything further than that puts us in a bear market. Now, we did dip below that temporarily, but we have started to push here to the upside. So we'll have to see if this level of support holds. We've been teetering. And if you go back here on the SPY, you can kind of see where the last level of support here was, right around 35.79. So we saw that quick wick to the downside, spiked through it, scooped up the liquidity hanging out right here underneath this previous high here, scooped up all the liquidity, and now it started firing to the upside. And now it's up roughly, let's see here. It's up roughly 11% almost currently, which is huge for equities. 10% gain over the course of maybe, 4 to 6 weeks. So that's what's going on with the SPY. Bitcoin, I'd like to see them both start moving in tandem. At least get this retrace we've been waiting for to come into Bitcoin here. And what else do we have? Mentioned NFTs. Lots of NFT news coming out. Steph Curry files a trademark for the Curryverse. Cool. Even as NFTs plummet, digital artists find museums are calling. And how investors can mint NFTs. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you can see just over the last several hours, hodl hands. What do NFTs have to do with golf? GameStop. Ads. I almost said Adidas. Forget selfies. So a lot of news coming out here with NFTs. Look for NFTs and Ethereum potentially to rise here in the near future. And I think with that being said, that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Encrypted Capital Recap. If you guys like what you heard, please drop us a like, comment, and subscribe. Sign up for the newsletter if you want to support the channel. Catch you all in the next video.